First, I'd like to welcome everybody to this wonderful facility. I think most of you have been here before many times, but if anybody's here for the first time, welcome. Also, I'd just like to thank our new partner for food and beverage operations, Billy Casper Golf, who is responsible for the food and beverage this morning, and for responding to the over-predicted crowd. So thank you very much. And in fact, standing in the corner is Carl Lashley, the manager, Billy Casper Golf's manager here at Lake Monticello. Carl, welcome. And then I'd like to introduce Alan Stewart, who is a member of our Communications and Marketing Committee and a public-spirited fellow. So in that context, Alan, along with a lot of help, some was voluntary, organized a wonderful event, first-time event last December, called Festival of Trees, which was a great event, and it was for fun. Christmas trees were a big feature of it, along with everything else having to do with the holiday season. In addition, it was a fundraiser, and I'm very glad to introduce Alan, who will be making a presentation to some very worthy organizations with the proceeds from the Festival of Trees, which is going to be much bigger and even better in the ensuing years. So, Alan?
Thank you, Steve. This is wonderful to see. This is absolutely wonderful to see. Before I get to the presentations, I do need to thank the over 24 volunteers that helped pull this off. Judy Fish, Mike Fiesel, who did a lot of the media. We live in a very vibrant county. And I need to thank Ruth Ann also, because I worked along with her. She did It's a Wonderful Life, and it was really nice to do this in parallel, and I hope it all grows, because it does our county a wonderful, wonderful thing. I also need to identify out of the 17 businesses the winners, because I see some of them here. And one of the most creative was Angel School of Dance. And Angel will be very happy to know that I was told by the winner of your tree, it's still on their porch. And I wasn't supposed to say that in front of Steve, but it's still on the front porch. Okay? Best use of theme was Happy Tales and Sweetheart Emporium. And the best in the festival was Long and Foster. And if you had a chance to get here and see it, it was incredible. The photography they did with the pictures and the ornaments they made, it was unbelievable. We had over 400 people visit the Festival of Trees this year. We raised over $4,000, which was amazing. And I could not have done it myself. I have to mention Craig and Kim Conboy, my wife Shirley, and the 24 volunteers that helped pull this off. So with that, I'd like to now recognize the 3 nonprofits that we were able to give $900 to each. So if Peaceful Passings comes up, and which one's up? The Fluvanna SPCA and the Caring for Creatures, if you would all come up, we'd love to give you some more checks. These aren't, you can't spend them.
Hi, Alan.
How are you? Thank you so much. Here they come.
And then Alan?
All righty.
One at a time.
All right, we will. You take that from me, because I can speak very loudly. So Peaceful Passings, here you go. And do we need to stand here, Rudy? Are we all right? You got it. Okay, well, here you go.
Thank you very
and
much.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of Jackie Myers, the founder of Peaceful Passings, thank you so much, and it's greatly appreciated.
Very good. And Caring for Creatures, here you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty.
I also thank you. This was a great event, very original, and the 200 animals at CFC appreciated. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, and last but not least,
No.
the Fluvanna SPCA, thank you so much for being involved, and
Thank you. We appreciate it very much. We were very excited.
oh, certainly.
But this way, thank you.
My finger didn't away.
All righty.
Thank you.
And thank you so much.
Can we give these back?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Thanks, Rudy.
Okay, well, we'll keep them.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our speaker, my friend, and the County Administrator, Eric M. Dahl. He became the Fluvanna County Administrator last July, on July the 6th. He previously was the Deputy County Administrator and Finance Director since October of 2011. Coming to Fluvanna from the private sector, he has served as a budget analyst, management analyst, finance director, and in 2016 assumed the role as Deputy County Administrator. He serves on a number of area boards and commissions, and I get to work with him on at least 3 of those, so it's a lot of fun. He lives in Palmyra with his wife Jill, who's an educator employed by the Charlottesville City Schools. They have 2 adult sons. Please give me a round of applause for Eric Dahl.
Thanks, Rudy. All right, well, thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. As Rudy said, we do work together on a lot of boards, and actually, this morning, we get to play hooky on one board. We had the finance board meeting this morning, so thank you for having this event so we can play hooky this morning. This is a great turnout. By show of hands, how many people in here are business owners? Could I see you? This is a fantastic turnout, and really the big thing for Fluvanna County is to grow our businesses. That's part of the state of the county, and the budget is to grow the businesses and help with the economic development in the county. For this presentation this morning, I'm going to kind of pop around a couple different topics from the county's financial condition to why we're a great place for economic development. What are the budget pressures coming forward? How are we branding ourselves a little differently? So I'll kind of go ahead and get started. So first, the chamber's role. The chamber's role is for business outreach. They're a liaison with local government, and they're here to help promote business through networking. As I said, everyone in this room and in this county can help the county tremendously by putting a positive spin on the county and always promoting what a great place Fluvanna County is to live here, to work here, to learn, to play. It's just a great place, and we need more people to say, as Brian Rothmel, the Economic Development Director, would say, that they're here from Fluvanna. So we need to promote being from Fluvanna more than, someone will ask, well, where are you from? Well, the easy thing is to say I'm from Charlottesville. Well, no, you're not. You're from Fluvanna. So let's say we're from Fluvanna. So economic development, we have a lot of joint partnerships. Let me backtrack. Economic development for me, when I interviewed for the board and when I was appointed by the board, my big thing was to get economic development going for the county. We need it drastically to change the tax base for the county. So we have a lot of great joint partnerships from the state with VEDP, which is the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, regionally, which is the Central Virginia Partnership for Economic Development. They couldn't keep those acronyms the same way. Surrounding localities, the EDA, the chamber, and EdTAC, and then just businesses and staff in general. So our focus is on visiting businesses and actively recruiting new businesses. We obviously have a focus on, as I said, growing existing business. We want to get new business in this county, and technology, office, light industrial are great things. And then in addition, the county needs some additional retail, but Zion's Crossroads is going to be that piece for that additional retail. And then obviously we've got a great asset being Pleasant Grove Park. Pleasant Grove Park with almost 1,000 acres. We need to leverage that a little bit more for the county to bump up our agritourism and just use that space more efficiently. And it's just a great place for the county, and just continue with these great community events that we're doing like this today. We've got a lot of great organizations that put out events like this, so this is a great turnout, and I just want to thank everyone for being here. So some things for the business environment in Fluvanna. So what do we offer? We have lower costs of land than Albemarle, obviously, Louisa County as well. We've got great road infrastructure. We obviously have a great quality of life here. With Pleasant Grove Park, there's no shortage of outdoor recreation that you can take part in. We have a diverse and educated workforce, efficient planning and zoning processes, and we have infrastructure, and we have infrastructure coming. One with it being water and sewer at the Zions Crossroads area, and I'll talk a little bit more in detail about that. And then broadband in the county too. That's rapidly moving forward with. What we don't have, for a business owner, this can be a benefit. We don't have a business license requirement. We don't have a business license fee. We don't have a B-poll tax. We don't have a merchant's capital tax. We don't have a meals tax. We don't have a lodging tax. But we do have large shovel-ready sites to go. So with that, I mean, as you can see, from being a business owner and being a resident of this community, those are some benefits. The flip side of that is, as we start talking about revenues, well, as we talk about revenues, the only revenue we really have is the real estate tax to draw from. So positives for businesses, but you know, from a budgeting standpoint, those are some things that we're just going to have to look at moving forward. The lodging tax, that's kind of a non-starter right now because we don't have any hotels in the county, so we're not losing a whole lot right there. So just a couple things, and if there's any businesses that are on here, or that are not on here, I apologize, but like I said, since we don't have a business license requirement or anything like that, we don't necessarily know, we're not notified all the time of exactly when that new business is popping in, but just some new great businesses that have come into this county. The Virginia, Maryland, Delaware Association of Electric Co-ops. It's a great training center for this area for linemen. They have a fantastic facility right up by CVEC. Greenberry's Coffee is going to be bringing their production facility up at Zions Crossroads. Mechanical Business Solutions, Firefly Broadband, which is a subsidiary of CVEC. Lane Self Storage, Totes McGoats, Canine Life, Sprint, AT&T. And then the items in blue, those are some of the businesses that Brian Rothamel worked with to get into the county. One, Wahoo Barbecue. If you haven't had their barbecue yet, it's fantastic. It's a great use of a building that's been sitting there that everyone drives by. Well, probably most people drive by every day, and it's just another great way to continue to expand what we're doing in the county. Tractor Supply Company, they are coming to Fluvanna County. They're going to be having a $3 million investment and hopefully at least 10 jobs. That's going to be another big boon for Fluvanna County. The more that residents can shop in the county and spend their tax dollars in the county, whether it's a big company or a small company, we just need to make sure that we're utilizing our Fluvanna businesses, all businesses in the county. And then Foothill Irrigation, they're another business moving up to Zions Crossroads from Albemarle County. 15 new jobs and 800,000 capital investment in the county. So these are just some immediate wins and businesses that have kind of made some commitments within the last year to come to Fluvanna County. So hopefully next year we can have this room twice in size, or you know, we just need to continue to grow what the businesses are doing in the county. Just a quick thing too, you know, some people say, well, what are we doing to promote economic development? What are we doing to bring more business to the county? The map right here, this is it's the VEDP site, Virginia Economic Development Partnership. These are sites in the county that are actively out there for the state to look forward to look to if there's any projects that are coming to this county. There's 14 properties on that site. I can say probably up to maybe a couple years ago, I think there's only 4 or 5 sites on that site. So we have more business owners and more property owners that are saying, look, we want to develop our property, we want to put it out there, we want to grow what we have. So there's 14 properties for acreage totaling 419 acres. That's just on this site. That doesn't even include what we're not privy to or what we're not a part to. Obviously, there's lots of other businesses that are listing their property. One of those sites is a 159-acre site on Route 250 right up in Zions Crossroads. That can be a great win for the county. And then there's actually, the county has one county-owned site of 88 acres down on Route 15 in Fork Union. You know, we're actively whenever the state looks for properties, we're actively promoting the county property as well, because Fork Union, like I said, Zion's Crossroads and around the lake area, those are some of the immediate places for economic development growth, but we need to focus on the other areas too, and being Fork Union, the little village of Palmyra as well. Talking about some Fluvanna County developments, so we've had some residential developments that have been approved within the past year too. Colonial Circle, which is going to be right up there across from Effort Church, is going to be, it was approved for 325 residential units, and then there's 81,000 square feet of commercial space up there as well. Besides that, we have Island Hill, which is a 49 residential lot, kind of in between Lake Monticello and Broken Island. And then we have Village Oaks. Obviously, if you drive down Lake Monticello Road, you see all the clearing that's happening there. That's planned for 127 residential units. So you can see 500 residential units would be a big change in our population in Fluvanna. We haven't had that big of a change in the recent years. And when we kind of talk about economic factors, I'll kind of show you that down the way. As I said, economic development opportunities that we have, obviously water and sewer at Zion's Crossroads area, partnering with CVEC for broadband expansion. Obviously, we also have the continuing work on the James River Water Authority project. That's the kind of the 50-year long-term supply for Fluvanna County. Also doing additional things to support and grow the Fork Union Sanitary District water system. And then, we're going to have to look at pretty much when Zion's Crossroads is complete, we're going to have to start planning for the next phase of what that growth looks like for our county. And we do this also why we want to expand the health and growth of our existing businesses. And we've got some great programs in place working with the schools for what we call Project Fluvanna, which is to kind of help grow the CTE program there. So the county and schools have a great partnership with that. And as I said, we're working to change, what our tax base is. Right now, about 93% comes from residential, 7% is from commercial businesses. We need to change that percentage and reduce the burden on the homeowners a little bit. And we don't want to just target businesses, but we need new businesses to kind of do that. So as we talk about some big infrastructure projects, we have the Zion's Crossroads project, as you see there. So it's about a 4-mile stretch of water and sewer main going from roughly the Department of Corrections down to 250 and 15, and then south on 15 about a half mile or so. If you've driven up there anytime recently, you will see that big giant water tank sitting there. So the one thing that the board approved recently, this logo, that is going to be the logo going on our water tank. So we're trying to really kind of boost and have a big presence for when people come by Zion's Crossroads and see Fluvanna County. The water tower is going to be the same color. So that's the Louisa Tower. I don't want to say anything bad about Louisa's tower, but I think ours is going to look pretty awesome. Also, big infrastructure projects is we partnered with CVEC probably about a year and a half ago to provide and expand broadband a little quicker in our county. CVEC, as you know, is electric provider, but they're trying to expand broadband to all their residents, all their accounts as well. CVEC serves about 85% of the electrical needs in Fluvanna County, so that means they've got a 5-year plan. Within 5 years, if you're on the CVEC electric grid, then you will have access to broadband at your home within 5 years. And I'll tell you right now, up in this area right here, this is the Zion's Crossroads. They have them by substations, the Zion's Crossroads substation, and I think I just heard that they are just now, within the last week or two, hooking up some of the first customers up there, and the rates are going to be fantastic. There's also some approvals where they're moving down through the Columbia district, Kent Store, not necessarily Kent Store, but moving down right here, going down to Columbia. And they're also working on some engineering for the kids' store area down in the Cunningham district here. So we have a lot of underserved areas for broadband in the county. Broadband's a huge need for education, for businesses. So this is going to be a fantastic advancement for the county. As I spoke about before, some other things that we've been working on is the James River Water Authority project. There's been lots in the news about the James River Water Authority project, and I'll say, as I said before, that is the county's long-term water supply. What we're doing at Zion's Crossroads, this project has no effect on the Zion's Crossroads project in the immediate term. The Zion's Crossroads project will have 75,000 gallons of water and 125,000 gallons of sewer, which is probably would cover about half the businesses that Louisa County has on their side of the line right now. So what we have right now is a good start, but we need a long-term water supply, and the James River Water Authority is that long-term water supply. There's lots in the media about, are we at the right location? We'll let some of the further analysis determine if we're at the right location or not. But we are certainly sensitive to the historic resources and the historic place that is the Point of Fork. Some other kind of projects that have in the works is the Fluvanna Fire Training Building. We have a lot of great volunteers for fire and rescue in the county. And right now, if they do any training, they have to go to a lot of other localities to be able to use their facilities. And sometimes they get bumped. It's really the locality that has the immediate need. So we're working on a Fluvanna Fire Training Building. We have a grant for $480,000. The board hasn't approved. We're expecting the building probably to come in around, I'll say, $800,000 range. The board hasn't approved the second half of that building yet, what the difference is. We're going to be going out to bid soon to see what that price comes in at, but that will be a fantastic training facility for our volunteers. And the future. So the county and the schools have worked on, and you notice I had the big question marks because the board hasn't approved this or anything for what the future of the county buildings looks like. But the county and the schools teamed up together to do a building facility and feasibility study. One, county complexes, sheriff's office, courthouse, county administration. We are tapped out of space completely. We don't have 1 ounce or 1 room to put another body. So there are some needs, and we have some inefficiencies too in some of our like services. For instance, we have the health department in the county admin building, and then we have social services down at Carriagebrook. We have finance in the admin building, and we have the treasurer's office up the street. The county has a lot of old buildings, and there's going to come a time where doing some upgrades to facilities, new facilities, may make more sense than maintaining a lot of old facilities. But like I said, this is nowhere near approved. The board has seen the space study, but as you see, this is the library right here. This is the sheriff's office. This would propose a new county admin building with in between kind of let's call it a boardroom, a meeting room, an auditorium, a proposed new social services building right there, which is next to the sheriff's office. And then in the future, too, there could be an additional wing for the school board office to move right next to the auditorium, too. But like I said, it's a lot of dollars, it's a lot of time down the road, and we're going to have to look at that a little bit more closely to see how the board wants to move forward with the recommendations and some of the future costs that we're going to see with this study. So some of the county projects and tasks we have underway. I talked about a lot that we have going on with Zion's Crossroads. We're also working on a Zion's Crossroads small area plan. It's really, when we look at Zion's Crossroads, we don't want to say Fluvanna, Louisa, even though we want more people to come to Fluvanna County. Let's face it. But when people are coming off 64, we want them to see kind of a unified corridor up there. So we've been working with Louisa County and the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission to kind of come up with this comprehensive gateway project for the Zion's Crossroads area, which looks at traffic, which looks at just the growing needs up there, whether it's, do we have the same type of landscaping requirements? Do we have the same type of signage requirements? So we're just trying to make the Zion's Crossroads area a little more uniform. We talked about James River, the roundabout at 53 and 618. If you remember back on the slide that showed Colonial Circle, there's a roundabout that's going to be going in at 53 and 618. That's approved. Bids have been received. They're actually going to be starting construction in April of this year here. So it's going to be happening very, very shortly. They had a couple snafus with some of the funding that came in from the state and the bid that came in, but the county was able to allocate some of the VDOT money that's there to make the project move forward. It came in, like I said, it came in a little over budget, and they were proposing to get it under budget to cut out the lighting and the sidewalks up there. And we felt that was not a good thing to do. All of our other roundabouts, we have lighting, and it makes sense to have those areas, lighted for safety and traffic. Some other things, we're also working on a Columbia wastewater preliminary engineering report. The former town of Columbia, we can't forget that area. That's also, that's Fluvanna County. And there's needs with infrastructure in the former town of Columbia also. We're looking at, they've got some immediate sewer needs down there that we're addressing. If you've seen the Fluvanna review recently, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But the one thing you have to remember with Columbia, right across the river, there is I think it's 1,000-acre reservoir going in right across the river from the town of Columbia, a little bit up in Cumberland County. There's going to have homes there. They're going to have to travel somewhere to go to work. And where's the main corridor? If they're going to Richmond, it's going to be going through Columbia. So we're going to look at Columbia also because, as we said, Zion's Crossroads, Lake Monticello area, those are some obvious economic development growth areas, but Columbia, Fort Union, little village of Palmyra also, we need to look at that. Some things we have in the planning, we're working on every 2 years. We work on strategic initiatives for the board. It's kind of the roadmap that the board gives the county for what some of the goals are and what some of the tasks are that they want the county staff to focus on for the next couple years. We're going to be working on a citizen survey, a business survey. The planning department's going to be working on a 5-year update to the comprehensive plan. We are up for a slight website overhaul. And then just some projects that were approved. There's some road paving for Pleasant Grove Park. If you've had children and you've traveled back to any of the soccer and baseball fields, it's a dust storm back there. So there's some money approved there. I don't necessarily know if that money is going to do what it needs to do, but there's a start there. Again, there's some money approved already by the board for renovating our historic courthouse. Everyone that comes through there, we've got such great historic resources in the town, in the little village of Palmyra with the old stone jail and the historic courthouse. So that's some things that are already approved. And then we also have some funding for SCBAs. All of our fire and rescue volunteers, their equipment is coming to end of life. And unfortunately, that's not something that we can skimp on. So there's some dollars, about $800,000 that has been approved to buy all new SCBA equipment for all Fluvanna volunteers. We're hoping, I think yesterday, we just submitted for a grant application, which would hopefully give us $600,000 to hopefully offset that. So that's a good thing. And then we talked about the training building and the space utilization study. Budget pressures, obviously, the biggest drivers of budgets coming up, and so you're getting me one day early. I'm presenting my budget to the Board of Supervisors tomorrow evening, so I can't give you any sneak previews or anything like that. So, but I will say, you know, obviously, education, public safety, and human services, those are the main cost factors. And as I get down to the very end bullet too, also in that, you know, we do have a high debt service annual amount that we have to pay, but, you know, from that, we have a fantastic high school that'll serve this community for many years to come. We also are going to be putting some money into the Zions Crossroads, as we've been talking about that, the water and sewer project. The board's kind of committed for the last 2 to 3 years to set aside about a $3 million wedge of cash. We took out debt service proceeds to fund most of it, but there's going to be about $3 million that the board has anticipated that they're going to need to put towards that project. And it's not a cost overrun or anything. That was planned. As I talked about, we have aging facilities, we have aging fleet, we have aging equipment that requires significant maintenance. Between the county and schools, we have 33 buildings with HVAC, and we have over 290 vehicles, whether it's cars, buses, fire trucks, ambulances. So that's a lot of equipment to maintain, and those dollars come from the community. Obviously, you know, one thing, there's always a cost of increasing costs of goods and services. The increase in consumer price index over the past 12 months has been 2.3%. So, you know, if our budget's grown astronomically, that's one thing, but I can say one thing, my budget this year is growing a little less than that from a percentage standpoint. So I'll let you do the math. And then also we want to maintain competitive salaries for salary and benefits for both county and school employees as well. But that comes with a price tag to do that. You know, I know from county government ourselves, we have about, I think the last time I heard, we have about 75% of staff that live within Fluvanna County that work here. So I think that's great, and we want to make sure that we continue to retain the great staff that we have. A lot of things on here, I'm not doing this all by myself. I've got a lot of great staff. I got 3 staff members here, Kelly for the Assistant County Administrator, Douglas Miles with Director of Community Development, and Brian Rothamel with Economic Development. And, you know, they do a lot of great work, and a lot of other staff do too. So we got to make sure we maintain a competitive compensation package. And then, as I talked about, you know, budget pressure is our debt load. The one nice thing is we funded a public safety project about 3 years ago, which cost about $8 million. And it was really low interest, but now we have for our first responders, we have 99% coverage throughout the county, no matter where you are. So that's, you know, from sheriff's office to fire and rescue, that's a huge boon and a huge benefit. But, you know, as I said, you know, a lot of revenue comes from us, the taxpayers. You can see right there, out of the money that comes from local sources, 48% is real property, 11% is public utilities, basically like a Tenaska, a Dominion, and then 11% comes from personal property taxes, our boats, our cars, our motorhomes, our motorcycles, and then delinquent taxes. So that's a huge percentage of real estate coming just from taxes. And when throughout every budget year, we always look to find ways to do some revenue increases. This map here is just kind of a comparison. Obviously, you know, the surrounding counties right here that's up here in the top left corner, those are some of our neighboring counties that we always trying to kind of compare ourselves to and kind of set standards to see, well, what are they doing? We don't want to lose our employees going to Louisa County or Buckingham or anything like that. But then also, too, we've got throughout the Commonwealth, we've got another 12 localities that are similar population sizes to us that we're always looking to see what they're doing, what type of revenue sources do they have coming in, what are they charging, just to kind of keep it for a population keep the population similar. And then we're always, as I said, we're always investigating ways to look for new revenue sources for the county. I have up here the business license registration fee requirement. The board has said that they don't want to necessarily look at that, but I'm going to keep it up there because I think it's something we need to look at just from I'm not saying B-poll, but from a flat $25 a year item. But when the board wants to do that, it's there. We can look at vehicle license fee revisions. We always look for ways to, the county has a lot of revenues that we're currently charging for, and we're going to look at what we're charging for our existing services as well. And then the meals tax. So if you remember a couple years ago, November 2018, meals tax was put on a referendum for the voters to decide if they wanted meals tax to pass or not, and it did not pass. Most localities it doesn't pass. We can look back at the meals tax option for November of 2021. So if in this next fiscal year the board wants us to start looking at that, we can certainly take a look at that. Just looking at comparisons, that would equate to $300,000 to $600,000 annually for the county, which equates to about 1 to 2 cents on the real estate tax. But I think we need to educate people, and remember, this is just not taxing people that are living in the county. It's also people that are coming from outside the county, and that's what we want to do. We want their tax dollars to stay in our community as well. Financial condition. So the county does have, against popular belief, we do have a good financial condition. Right here, this chart kind of shows over the 10-year period what our fund balance is. Fund balance is basically what our available dollars are to spend on the needs of the county. And as you can see here, it's been roughly right around $20 to $22 million every year for the past 10 years. The bottom number, unassigned, this is what can be used immediately for that. And the biggest swing right there, the board had committed some money to a project some years ago for the public radio system. We ended up taking out debt proceeds for that project because it was just more cost efficient. I think we got interest rate of it was around 1.5% or something like that. It was really low. Any type of debt we've taken out in the past 3 years, it's been below 1.5%. We had an energy project we did in the county that the effective interest rate was 0.95%. So when the county has taken out debt, it's been smart, low cost debt. But we'll have to see what we want to do move forward. Out of that unassigned fund balance, which is roughly about 16 million, we have a restricted amount, which is 9 million, and then we have an unrestricted amount of about at the end of fiscal year 19 was 7.5 million, but currently it's at about 6 million. The board this fiscal year, they've approved some projects to move forward with. One and the largest, namely being the SCBA equipment for the fire and rescue folks. And then also from the financial condition, every year we get a rating from Moody's, if anyone's familiar with the Moody's rating agency. And this was from 2018. We'll be getting another one in March. And it stated that our rating remains unchanged at AA2. Fluvanna's credit position is high quality, and the AA rating matches the U.S. county's median of AA2. And it notes a solid financial position, strong wealth, income profile, and a sizable tax base for our population for this county. And it even takes into consideration our sizable debt burden that we have with all the projects. So we have taken out debt to do stuff, but looking at all the other factors, Moody still thinks that we have a strong credit position. And just looking at some tax rates that we have over time, this is a chart that we've shown to the board numerous times, numerous years. The red line is the tax rate history of Fluvanna County, going back to 1978. And if you take that same tax rate, and and you can read into this whatever you want, but if you take that same tax rate and adjust it for inflation, it would say our adjusted tax rate should be around the $2 range. Now, economists and others that are financial gurus can determine if that's a fair comparison or not, but there's other things to look at. Some other economic factors, if you look on the left chart there, so Fluvanna has always had great unemployment, you know, especially when it's compared to the green line is the Commonwealth, and the blue is the U.S. You know, our unemployment rate right now is 2.1%. It's a low unemployment rate, and if you're looking for high caliber employees, it's difficult sometimes. I know we face the same thing from the county standpoint when we're looking for staff, but we've been fortunate that there's a reason that people want to come and work in Fluvanna County. And I think more and more people like the fact that they don't have to drive to Charlottesville or Richmond and get away from that commute. Also, sales tax, looking at economic factors. If you consider sometimes that having discretionary income to spend on things, there's sales tax associated with that. If you look at what our sales tax revenue has been over about a 10-year period, it's been going up dramatically. Within the past year, it went up 3.85%. But I think if I remember correctly, I think there was one look I did, I think it was around from like 2011 to currently, it's increased 50%. So again, the more that we shop within the county benefits the county. The more businesses we get in the county benefits the county. So shop in Fluvanna County, please. And then population growth. As you know, because of Lake Monticello here and this fantastic community that we're in, we had tremendous growth from the 2000 census to 2010. The population growth in the county grew 28%, which is huge. From 2010 to 2019, it only grew 5.2%. And but if you see here, so in this range right here from about 2011 to about 2014, population was pretty flat. But you can see within the last couple years, our population has slowly been growing. Obviously, with some of those new home developments, that'll grow. The more businesses we get here and we get people that want to come and live in Fluvanna County, that'll grow as well. And this also slightly has a little correlation to the sales tax growing. You get more people coming to your community, spending money in your community, the sales tax is going to grow. And just looking at some total building permits, within 2018 to 2019, we had a 50% in total building permits in the county, which is great. Now that's not new home construction. That's, Brian wants to put a new deck on his house, and Judy wants to add a swimming pool to her house. So the building permits have increased, but what we slowly want to start doing too, we're going to start seeing the permits for new home construction going up. They've been pretty flat from 2018 to 2019. Like I said, we just saw basically 2 less permits in that time period for a 2% decrease. So I consider that flat. But like I said, as all those buildings and subdivisions and developments are happening, we're going to see that number increase, which means additional property values, which hopefully means we get additional jobs in the county, which means additional sales tax, and it's a huge snowball effect. So let's get away from the numbers. And unfortunately, I'm biased to the numbers coming from a finance background, but it is what it is. One thing that we're doing too, so if you saw the water tower, we want to try and start branding the county. We want to be consistent in the images that we have out for the county. Within the past 3-4 years, we've had a lot of different kind of logo images that have been floating around out there. But to be consistent in Fluvanna County, we want to stay consistent to the branding that we have in Fluvanna County. So if you look on the left here, those are, we did some presentations to the boards for trying to stay current and consistent with what we're doing. So these are going to be the logos that we start using moving forward for anything that's related to fun events, the website, marketing materials. As you see, everything here is color or black and white, or there's just a slight variation to what it is. And the cool thing with this logo too, a Fluvanna resident created that logo, so another win for Fluvanna. But obviously, when you see our wonderful tax bills coming, you're going to get the official county seal. That means pay your taxes. And the one thing we are not going to change, Parks and Rec has such an embedded logo that's everywhere. People know it. We're going to stay with the Parks and Rec logo for them. They've done a great job at branding the Parks and Recreation. So these are going to be the logos and seals and the images when you think of Fluvanna County that are going to be out in the public moving forward. Whether we start looking at if we'd start looking at maybe gateway signs or any signage or any marketing materials, expect the stuff on the left to start seeing that more. So communication strategies. So it was funny, I was updating this from a couple years ago, and the way we are communicating with the citizens has almost grown twofold. One, we obviously have the website. FluvannaCounty.org is our main government website, but then we also have some additional websites. We have Yes Fluvanna, which is for business. We have Visit Fluvanna, which is for tourism, and we have a new one, From Fluvanna, which is, obviously you're from Fluvanna. So Brian Rothmel, he started a new blog and a podcast, and start looking at From Fluvanna. We have fan mail. Kelly Harris, she maintains a lot of our communication for the county. She sends out, if you're not already signed up for weekly fan mail updates, Kelly sends out weekly fan mail updates, lets you know what's happening in the county. Is there any type of breaking news that we need to get out to the citizens? So if you haven't already signed up for fan mail, obviously the local paper, community meetings like we're doing here today. Social media, we're becoming more active with social media from just a government notification standpoint to economic development and tourism standpoint. We use Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. In addition, as I talked about Ms. Harris, last year, starting July, the board created an assistant county admin position and / public information officer. So Kelly Harris acts as a public information officer. So if the community or businesses or nonprofit organizations have anything that they want to get out to the community, contact Ms. Harris. She's with her hand raised. We also have an Everbridge system, which is an emergency alert system. So we don't send out everything through the Everbridge. We want Everbridge to, when you get a notification from Everbridge, whether it's from your cell phone, your home phone, an email, a text, we want you to know that that's for an emergency. So we keep that to emergency only purposes, but if you haven't signed up for Everbridge, please do so. And then obviously local events, and then as I spoke about podcast, Brian will have to get his couple podcasts out and make sure everyone in the chamber has access to it. And then going back to our county website, again, sign up for fan mail. If you have something you want to say, if you want to tell the county administrator that his presentation's horrible, send me something through my 2 cents and tell me my presentation's horrible. If you want to recognize others in the community, whether it's a county staff member, whether it's just a citizen doing good work, there's a way to do that through the county website. And then obviously we have lots of talented folks in this room, in this community, for serving on different boards if the time permits. We've got 35 different local and regional boards and commissions to serve on. And in addition, there's lots of nonprofits in the area that could use your skills and benefits as well. So like I said, we like to use the county website as a great resource to come and just kind of find out what we're doing. But if not, contact us. Call me, email Kelly, email me, email Douglas, email Brian. We're happy to respond and just get you the information that you need. And obviously, we have a fantastic school system. That's also, you can consider that an economic factor as well, because if you have poor schools, you're not going to get people moving to your community. Obviously, we have a beautiful high school that's there. Whether you agree with how much it costs, it's there, and it's a great school. But the school system is one of 19 school systems in the Commonwealth, accredited for the past 6 years. Their recent on-time graduation rate is 93.4%, and dropout rate is only 1.8%. So we have a great school system. So, we hope this will be a benefit for folks to come into the county with kids. And that is it, and I would happily take any questions from anyone, if we have questions. And I can go back to any slide if anyone has questions about a different thing. Yep. Yep.